Hey there, Libra. It's Amanda Beach with Cosmic Beach Consulting, and I have your Cosmic Surf Report for July 2016. Starting off in July, we have a beautiful new moon in Cancer. It's on July 4th, so make your gatherings count. But here I also see you focusing on some new thoughts in the first week, Libra. I see some cutting through of the bullshit for the month. I mean, this is going to be a powerhouse month, especially in your relationship sectors. And when we see the first week, we kind of see you taking inventory of the last couple of months, maybe some people's inventory as well, so maybe some friend inventory, and really deciding, like, what's worth it? Who's honest with you? Who's helping you serve the best you? Who's helping you maintain that balance that you love so much? It also might say, hey, we need to trim some of the fat. Like, you know what? It turns out I can't make it to 6 4th of July barbecues. I'm going to have to hang out at my house. I don't like to be hot. However that goes for you, little Libra, I think that it's important for you to honor that inner voice this week. I think it's, if you ever get the feeling where you're coming at something like with a sword and you're like, I need to cut through this, that's very important. I think that's an important message to listen to, especially since you are the most prone to people pleasing. So this might be a week where we're kind of seeing like a departure from that, where we're seeing you really being able to say, like, listen, I appreciate the invite, or I appreciate the offer, or thank you so much for the opportunity. However, you have a lot of your own stuff to work on. And moving into the second week of July, we have Mars going direct on June 29th after a 2-month retrograde period. It's a little over 2 months, but and that's left a lot of us feeling kind of unmotivated and leaving our projects in the lurch and looking at things and thinking, like, why am I not making a lot of movement? Why don't I have all this, where'd my energy go? Everybody's been dealing with like a loss of mojo. And so we're starting to see a return of that. And when we start to see a return of that, we're also going to see events picking up. And so if there's something that maybe you were waiting for the other shoe to drop in the second week of July, kind of look at that and think, like, oh, what really hasn't transpired that was supposed to? And maybe this is when you're going to start to see that kind of pick up. Because the second week of July for me, for you, speaks to understanding our limitations and really not trying to overexert our authority into the world where we genuinely have done. So this means we're looking at situations that you can't control, and let's talk about how you can't control them. Maybe you had a family gathering on the 4th of July and somebody got mad at somebody else, and you can't make peace between those two people because it is their job to make the peace. Perhaps it's something where, you're looking at it and you're thinking, like, oh, I don't have time for this because I have everybody else in my way. Well, the first week we've kind of squared that away. And so the second week you're like, oh, but now I have this new thing in my lap. So really understanding, like, what is handed to you and how to kind of deal with that. This speaks to me of making sure that you're not reacting to things more, and making sure that you're really looking at situations and you're getting the most out of them. So while it may be a shakeup of a week, it's certainly an opportunity for you to be able to practice your calm and really listen to your inner self and really understand your power and your powerlessness. Those are two huge lessons for the second week. Moving into the third week, we have the full moon in Capricorn. Capricorn rules Saturn, and the full moon eliminates any sign that it's in. And Saturn is the teacher. He's a teacher of hard lessons. So the third week might see you kind of suddenly being a little overwhelmed with the returning energy of the Mars direct. And for me, I also get for you, dear Libra, that maybe there's a lot of anxiety right now that you need to name. Maybe there are some, self-care, mental health issues that you really should probably spend some time looking at. And there might be some situations that are, to you, they, maybe there's a mountains out of molehills sort of hint to this week as well. I certainly could see that, where you're thinking it's this agonizing thing, you're like dreading it, and really it's the energy that you're putting into it that's making it so bad. So it's the approach. The approach is a huge theme for you this month overall. But when we're looking at this third week too, I also caution you about, taking on too much guilt. If there are bad feelings out there that are yours, by all means, please own them, but don't go picking up anybody else's, and don't take any off of anybody because they want to feel better. Because, really, I can see you as being someone who does care so much for everyone's happiness. My beautiful son is such a little Libra. And, everyone's good feelings really matter to him. And he takes it very personally when people don't feel happy, or they don't feel good, or they're not happy with him. And maybe there's some decisions you've had to make that are for you, that are important, and they haven't made everyone happy. But that literally, as much as it feels like it's your calling, it's not always your calling. There's a difference between being a people pleaser and making people happy. There really is. I think that when you're a genuinely happy person, when your happiness comes from your core, you are your light shines so much brighter than it does if you're just constantly burying yourself under other people's demands. And so this week really says, like, let's look at you, Libra. Let's take care of you. Let's pull you out of the rubble. Let's help you clean your house. Let's take you shopping. Let's sit down and write your list for you for once. You know, all those things that you do for other people. Let's really look who's on our team, who can help us, who can do that for us. And that's what I'm saying about the network too, the purging and the socialization of the summer. You know, maybe you're really looking at like, who is in my corner? Who is going to come over and deal with this when I'm, you know, I'm having, like, we're all getting to the point where it's, you know, it's time to make relationships where you can have a bad day in front of these people and they'll still be your friend. And maybe it's time for you to like say like, you know what, I'm always there for everyone else. Who's going to be there for me this week? Who can really help me see that through? And that might be your own damn self. It might not be anybody else, but you know, I really, if you are feeling lonely, call out to your network. Even if your inner voice is telling you horrible things, like you don't have a network, I am sure that there is someone, you know, that you can reach out and talk to and really kind of feel valid when it comes to like, where am I putting my effort? Where am I putting my energy? And that leads us into the 4th week of July. A lot of big emotional self-work for you this month. So the last week of July, we really need to look at what we're filling our time with. We really need to look at what we're filling our wells with. We need to look at kind of like, what kind of dragons are we feeding? Like what are we giving our time and energy to? I mean, that's the huge lesson of this. This is all about how you're going to be judicious with your own special self, with yourself. You are your most important resource, and how are you using that resource? What are you putting into that resource? You know, whether that's like, are you giving yourself too much wine? Are you not giving yourself enough sleep? Are you giving yourself too much of your friend's drama? Are, you know, like anything that you're taking in too much of? We really need to look at like what do we have as an abundance of that's not necessarily great for us, and what do we need to give away? So overall, I'd say July is a big hill month for you. This is going to be, I mean, the view is going to be great at the top. So keep climbing and keep yourself and your thoughts, Libra. Even though like your first instinct is to keep everyone else in your balance, please keep yourself in your balance too. I'll see you next month.